You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell. Sponsored by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Pinnacle Capital Mortgage Corporation. Now, in the studio, local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to The Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm going to say it every intro. Happy Valentine's Day to all those special ones out there. Dave, I love you very much. That's my husband, 20 years this year. And I like to have little crafty things, so just make me something. I bring in studio each week the best of the best experts in our local market on everything money. I'm here to help you today in today's economy. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. You can call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com to discuss anything regarding your finances, any topics that you like to have in studio. And right now, first-time guest in studio, John Hooker with John L. Scott in Ording, and we're going to talk everything real estate. John, thank you so much for coming in and visiting me.
You're welcome. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. A little bit about John. Just over a year in the business, and I like to bring in the elite, the best of the best, and new in the industry, sometimes it's hard to reach high levels of success. John's done very well, received Broker of the Month in his office, and this was voted by his peers, so that says a lot because peers can be pretty hard.
Yep.
And he also received Rookie of the Year within his office based on volume, so that's actually based on success of doing transactions. So early in his career, he's already at the top and pretty impressive. So John, that's why I invited you in studio, is because you're already killing it and a year in the industry. John loves working with new buyers and investors. So let's go ahead and start out, John. What does a real estate broker do for his clients, or what do you do for your clients?
I mean, first off, real estate brokers, like lawyers and doctors and some banks, we have fiduciary duties to our principal or our client. Mm-hmm. And what that means and what that looks like is, we have to look out for our best interest their best interest before anyone else. That's where a great broker comes in, and they will sit down and have a heart-to-heart with their client, mm-hmm. and tell them the truth on many issues like price, even if it means not getting that listing or even having to move on from a house that they may really love, like as a buyer. For me, I try to get my clients the best home and the best price range for the best deal, in the market. And in today's market, you're looking at, if you can get a 3% discount on a home,
mm-hmm.
you're doing pretty good.
Yeah. And John, I like how you really mentioned as working for your clients, it's really being honest with them, honest with the seller that this is what the price of your home is, and honest with your buyer that this house really is not going to meet what your goals are. There may not be anything else on the market right now,
Correct.
But let's wait to find a good house that you're going to be happy with.
Yep.
So what about purchasing a condo? Because I know a lot of people are thinking condo, lack of inventory, maybe for a better price. So how are you counseling your clients and coaching based on finding a good condo?
So I think what it comes down to is the condo complex. And I look for several key things for a condo complex. One, is it FHA approved? That's huge. As a good majority of condo buyers, 30 to 40% are approved with an FHA loan. For that reasons, you want the complex to be FHA approved. If you decide to sell later down the road, which most of us do, you want to appeal to a larger audience, not just cash or conventional buyers. Also, a lot of people think once the complex is approved FHA, it stays that way. It doesn't.
Yeah.
So
we saw a lot of them fall off.
A lot of them fall off. So you want to make sure that the HOA stays compliant with FHA and has a written plan to stay that way. The second thing that I look for and coach my clients on is you want to make sure that the HOA has reserves, mm-hmm. and a reserve account and a reserve study done. And that's huge. Also, the third thing is a rental cap, because you want to be able to sell it down the road. The FHA rules for being compliant with the rental cap, you have to have 25% or less mm-hmm. of the units can be rentals. Anything more than that makes you fall out of compliance with FHA.
Yeah, and it is surprising with the associations. I don't want to get too much on the condo thing here, but that somebody is not just making sure that would never happen, because it does. And that's one of the downfalls in condo, is just not having complete control over something that the association can do. So get yourself on the board, take ownership, and make sure that you're helping to make a difference in that complex. Now, what about an owner carryback? Are you seeing that, and how does that work?
I've been seeing it with like younger buyers, and then like older buyers with not as good FICO scores.
Okay, so explain it to my listeners, John.
So an owner carry or an owner carry back is a type of financing that is done in place of a conventional financing. Essentially, the owner of the home, hopefully free and clear is a key point right there, of any debt to the home, holds the note for you, and is typically serviced by a loan servicing company. As you know, with bank financing, there's a ton of moving parts. An owner carry transaction can reduce, eliminate, or even manipulate these moving parts to allow for real estate deals for which bank financing alone is not economical or even feasible. A seller offering carryback financing for a buyer usually has a much greater ability of being a private person as opposed to a large financial institution. They can be more creative and flexible with financing terms. I just want to also go into speaking with a lawyer, a real estate professional.
Which you got one sitting right next to you.
Right next to me.
And a good one at that.
And a tax professional is always an important first step for understanding the risk and rewards of an owner carryback. It's a great tool for self-employed people, or even people, like I said, with low FICO scores.
Yeah.
Or those that want more control over desired financing terms. The banks that are unwilling or unable to appease such a seasoned investor.
Yeah. And it's it is a great alternative. Not seeing it as much with the because of the lack of inventory and the prices that sellers can get for their home. But there's always something out there for you if you're willing to wait and you're willing to find the right situation and to fit with what your needs are. So what you talk about, you shared with me that one of the biggest questions that you receive, John, from your buyers and sellers is the cost associated, the closing cost. So why is that? Why are they asking that question? Is it the closing cost on the actual loan, or the closing cost for buying real estate?
I think what they more or less want to know is what they're going to have to bring to the table.
Okay.
So with closing costs, I'm not a big fan of that question, because I feel like it's more of a lender question.
I'm just saying, when I heard that, I thought, why in the heck? Who are they working with over their mortgage professional? As being a regular listener to the show, that's what I do. There's no reason that you should ask your real estate agent what the closing costs are. That's something that you should know up front. And, so if you're not, you need to pick up the phone and call someone else.
Well, I think, with the new disclosure out there for all the new deals, I think that really brings together that
it
that
does
question.
And it doesn't. It depends on how far they go through the process.
Exactly.
So the mortgage industry, if they want to, they're going to figure ways around it. And it's just not getting to the full extent of the process to have to disclose it. So you should be getting those numbers day one up front, and that is also protecting to make sure that you're getting through the process to the stage that you need to early in advance.
Correct.
Yes. So what about if someone's selling their home in today's environment and it's not selling? In this market, why would a seller's home not be selling?
Honestly, really, it simply just comes down to price in today's market. And people don't understand that. And it's kind of hard to explain to them, because they have such high hopes for their home, and they have that emotional attachment to it as well.
Yeah. And in this market, they probably think the house is worth more than it's worth just because of what's happening.
Correct. Yeah, especially in King County as well. I really feel like the 2 or 3 biggest things that sell a home is ultimately price and staging it and decluttering it is huge.
Yeah, it makes total sense. So the process for my buyers that are listening to the show right now, my conversation with you, John, break down the process of buying a home in 90 seconds.
In 90 seconds. That is it's kind of hard to do, but you know, a lot of people that first start getting into home buying and want to buy a house, the first thing they do is always, you know, they want to do the fun stuff first, and that's to look at a house.
Yes.
So it seems like I'm the one getting called first. If they're not pre-approved, then I have them go get pre-approved first and then come back to me.
Yep.
And the reason for that is because, you know, I need to know a budget. I need to know where to start. Yeah,
they've got to know exactly the reality of what's available for them, what the payment's going to be. So, and it's not about wasting the expert's time. It's about wasting your time. You as a buyer, you've got family, you've got career, you've got life. And so get prepared and get pre-approved. That's great advice. So what about the best advice that you would have in the process for a seller?
The best advice, I'd give a seller is honestly stage your home.
Yeah. Okay. So make sure, and especially with all the online stuff, it's you may have one shot. They look at the picture and automatically delete it out of there, so it never comes up in their search again, right?
Correct.
Till it comes off the market and goes back on the market because it didn't sell, and that's a whole nother conversation and show. So really, how you show your property to maximize.
Yep.
Makes total sense. And what do you say when your clients ask when the next real estate bubble is going to hit? And I know you're in a little different market than we are here in this market. But what do you say when somebody, because that's a common question that people, what do you think about the next real estate bubble?
Yeah, if I had a real estate crystal ball, I'd probably be obviously pretty rich to be able to predict the ups and downs and the market fluctuations and bull market and bear markets and all that stuff. But I think since 2008, a lot of the government agencies and lenders have put regulations into place to better qualify buyers, along with getting them the mortgage needs that they need. But that also reduces growth. I think it slows growth a little bit, but I think that's good because it's more steady and manageable for everybody, and you're not just coming across or always thinking about, hey, when's the next real estate crash?
Yes.
When is it going to happen? And I think with those regulations in place, if there is some sort of real estate crash like 2008, I don't think it will be as devastating as it was.
No, I totally agree. And if there's going to be a crash, there always is. That's the way the market moves and anything. It's up and down. And don't worry about that. Get into the market where you lose money as you're forced to sell in a bad market. And just like you said, we're smarter this time around as an economy. So when the crash does happen, it's going to be for a different reason, but it will always recover. You've heard from the experts we're the next Silicon Valley. So look at our employment, and that should give you an idea. And look at our weather. Maybe not all the time, but it's changing. We got a beautiful place. So I've got 30 seconds to wrap up the show here, John. What do you want to leave with my listeners?
Man, I feel like picking the best real estate agent that works with you, just like Vincent here was saying with the lawyer. Whatever works for you, have a real estate agent or a broker do that for you, or pick one that matches you or mirrors you as a person. And that's probably the biggest way to success for the best and smooth transaction. And as Vincent said as well, we all just need to follow our gut. You'll know if somebody's working for your best interest or not. Huge. So trust your gut. Yep. John, thank you so much for coming into the studio. Excited to have you back again in the future. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And this is your host, mortgage expert Tina Mitchell, signing off for the day. Again, reminder, if you didn't get anything for Valentine's and do something special, just do something crafty, do something fun, and make your special one feel special. Enjoy your Saturday, the rest of the weekend, and I look forward to talking with you next weekend, same time, same place, right here on 1150 AM KKNW.